What is up, my fellow gamers? In today's video, we got some gameplay tips and tricks. We're talking about stealing, rebounding, setting screens, everything you need to know to crush your competition out there on the court. Like it's up for more amazing gaming content. Let's try and hit 50 likes on this video. It is greatly appreciated. It is awesome and it is fun to be back making some mobile basketball game videos. All right, let's go over the defensive stuff first. The first one being man defense. When you go ahead and you hold that defensive button down, your player will go ahead and get into a defensive stance. Now this is really good because while in a defensive stance, your movement speed is reduced, which is the downside, but you're less likely to have your ankles broken by a opponent who is ball handling and has some really flashy driving skills. Aside from that, you're also able to go ahead and completely stop them from dribbling if you can directly get into their pathway. So if you can just go ahead and kind of cut off their path and kind of bump into the player, it will have them pick up their dribble, which will then also lead them to be more susceptible to getting the ball stolen. The best way to steal the ball is 3 different ways. The first one, after an opponent has held the ball for more than 5 seconds, basically they become very, very vulnerable and the chance to steal the ball from them increases dramatically. So that's also something you want to keep in mind offensively. You don't want to hold the ball for too long. If you're holding the ball for more than 5 seconds, more than likely the opponent will steal the ball from you, especially if they are a very skilled player. So you really want to get rid of that ball quick. You got 5 seconds, right? Make a move, shoot, or pass the ball. Do something. Just don't hold the ball for too long. The other thing to also keep in mind is when your opponents are using like their drive abilities, that is pretty much when it's almost damn near impossible to steal the ball from them. If you spam the steal button, you're pretty much just going to leave yourself open for your opponent to drive past you or open, take a couple steps to the side and hit a wide open 3. So you have to be very, very strategic when you go ahead and use that steal. So to recap, the best times to steal: when your opponent has held the ball for more than 5 seconds, when your opponent has been stopped, basically you stop their dribble and they can't do anything. They either have to shoot it or pass it and they're just standing there. Those are like the best times to go ahead and try and steal the ball. Now, when it comes to going ahead and setting screens, this is a really, really important fundamental feature that you shouldn't overlook. Not only does it go ahead and help create space for your teammates, but it can also give you extra advantages like stat boost. There are some players that have like a pick and roll, and after they go ahead and they set a pick, they get like increased move speed or increased shot accuracy. Different things happen for different players when they go ahead and set a screen. So some of those players that have special screen abilities, we go ahead, we take a look at Steven Adams. We've got steamroll screen. Goes ahead and increases your contact range when using the steamroll screen, and also the accuracy of the entire team increases after setting a successful screen. And if we take a look at someone like Clint Capella, he has the leaning screen, which lets you actually go ahead and physically move when setting a screen. You can see the demonstration right here where you can move left and right with your joystick, or depending on your orientation of your character, and you can go ahead and kind of lean in to set that screen, which is really, really awesome. So look out for some players that have those special screening abilities. Now, 2 different things can happen when you set a screen on an opponent. They'll either get knocked back or they'll just flat out fall right on their ass. I mean, you just completely plow over them and they're knocked down, and like that's the best one. That's the one you really want to get, when you just completely knock them down and they fall over, because then it takes a lot more time for them to go ahead and recover. The other thing to also note is you can only set a screen on someone facing forward. Can't go ahead and set a screen on someone if your back is towards them. Rebounding is so important in this game, and there's 2 really, really key things you need to take away to be a master rebounder. The first thing is the best time to jump. So the rebound indicator is going to be when the ball turns white. So after the shot goes up and it will hit the rim, you will see the ball physically start to like change or glow to like this white color. That is the best time to jump. A lot of times you might jump a little too early or a little too late. Typically, one thing that I typically jump too early. I'm like very anxious and I'm jumping as soon as I see the ball hit the rim and I think it's gonna go. Be patient would be my number one tip when it comes to rebounding. Other important thing when it comes to rebounding is the ball landing spot. So if you take a look at the ground, you're gonna see this little like white ball icon show up. That indicates where the ball is going to land after it hits the rim. So the closer you are to that landing zone while going ahead and jumping at like the ideal time when it is turning white, that will go ahead and increase your successful chance to rebound the ball dramatically. So those are your two key things. Aside from that, the one extra key thing you can do is boxing out while rebounding. But pretty much you want to box out and get that bump on your opponent. You'll see your opponent will kind of be knocked back, and that will just give you a better chance or a better opportunity to go ahead and secure the rebound. Next thing is blocking. That kind of have to go right for you to successfully block a shot. Now there's 4 different things we got to talk about: block angle, the block range, the resistance, and finally block decrease. Which angle are you able to go ahead and block a shot? 2 different angles. There's players that have an angle of 240 degrees, which means they can block pretty much as long as they're in the front facing area of the opponent. And then there are some players like LeBron James who has a special blocking ability where he has a 360 degree block angle. And he can go ahead and he can basically do chase block downs. So he can block people from behind. You know, you're playing as LeBron and you are on their back, you still can go ahead and block their shot. You don't need to be fully facing forward them. Now, what you'll notice is if you do try and block someone's shot from behind when you don't have that angle of 360 degrees, it'll show up and say not from the front. So like a demonstration, when I'm playing as Zion has a 240 degree block range. So if I go ahead and I try and block someone's shot from behind, it'll straight up say like, hey, not from the front. Now block range is going to be really small, and it's kind of like right directly kind of like in front of the player. And you don't want to be like too close to them, but you also don't want to be like too far away. You kind of got to find like the perfect spot, which what I would like to say is like, if you look at the circles around like underneath of the 2 players, a step or 2 back, you want like a very tiny little bit of distance between you 2 in the front. And that is like, I would say, the ideal block range. Now, when it comes to blocking from behind, the block range is even smaller. So you really got to be like very precise. Now, block resistance happens when certain players may have special abilities that have like a block resistance stat, and it just means that they have a chance to go ahead and resist the block. But all it comes down to in that case is just numbers. But the other thing you also get with trying to block a shot is the block decrease. So even if the opponent does go ahead and fully successfully resist the block, let's say you don't just go ahead and put their stuff in the stands, right? You still get a shooting accuracy penalty to them. So it is important, you know, to even jump, you know, try and block it. Even if you don't successfully block it, you still will reduce their shooting accuracy, which gives a better chance that they don't even make the shot at all. But I will say this though, it is better to not jump at all and don't get fooled on a pump fake than just at least standing, right? Standing in front of their shooting zone. Because even if you're just standing in front of their shooting zone, they get a dramatic decrease to their shooting accuracy. But that is it for some of the basic gameplay tips I have for you. I hope you guys and girls enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe for more dunks. Make sure you subscribe for more Dunk City Dynasty content. I'll see you guys and girls later. Peace.